And we'll see if that practice translates here on the court against the Flames. Away we go here in Raleigh. It is Blaine with the first swing. Off the Liberty block point, NC State. Ava, Brizard, and the Wolfpack get it started.
Blaine a little bit out of her connection behind the setter. She was trying for Charlie Morris on the back quick, couldn't get it to connect properly.
Morris sets the near side, and the swing goes to Cameron Backus. Blaine, the senior from Montgomery, Texas, goes behind the service line. As Paul told you, tremendous performance. Yeah, the double-digit kills, but it was the efficiency. No errors. She did it on just 11 swings, about as good as it gets as she digs that ball out. Another swing for Backus on the near side, and there's Courtney Bryant for NC State. Brizard can't put it away. Tracked down by Kate Gammer. First swing for Rice. Back spun up in the air by Gammer. That ball is out.
Good idea by Backus on the roll shot during the long rally. Right back was open for her, but she tried to get a little too precise. Clip that antenna, give the point to NC State.
Brizard now in her junior season. 17 kills on the year thus far. She led the team nearly 400 a year ago, 385. Sky Stokes is the libero, sets it up for Bryant, pushes it across, and found there by Amelia Tomlinson. Naomi Cabello is the setter for NC State as Rice thumped that one. It takes a deflection all the way out. A left-handed hammer from Amanda Rice.
Well, Amanda Rice up to the billing, just overwhelming the libero, Erica Lowry. Lowry was in proper position, but just way too much heat from Rice.
You do everything you can fundamentally, and still it's tough to answer that swing.
We'll get our first look at the setting substitution for the Liberty Flames as they make a few changes. Also, Elizabeth Helmick coming in for the first time to go along with the brand new setter, Charlie Krausen.
There is Krausen. And so the two Charlies will set. Morris will be in the front row. Krausen will come back to serve and play back row. And floats the serve too long. Coach Albrecht is okay with that. He tells his team, they talk about selfish serving. Say, look, this is a team sport, and when you're within the court of play, it is a team game. Behind the service line, that's the one time you can go ahead and be selfish, be risk-taking.
Yep, and his point was that that's the only time where you have anything in control. Otherwise, the ball is being passed or something is being sent to you, but on the serve, of course, it's all yours. So Coach Albrecht says, let's go ahead and be selfish. That's the only place you're allowed to, so go ahead and own it from the service line.
NC State off to a nice start, 5-2. Sky Stokes will vary up her serve. She has a jump float serve she goes with here. As remember, Krausen is back row, so that is back row block.
Just too much on that Sky Stokes serve. She is renowned for that challenging serve, coming in aggressively from the back line.
Nice to have that in the bag, right? But she said a big focus for her this year, as many aces as it can garner, is also she wanted to cut down on the errors, and some of that is going to the jump float from time to time.
That's right. She went with the spin serve for a big part of last year, but of course that risk reward, you've got to really dial up that spin serve if it's going to win you a point, and as a result, sometimes you're going to get some misses.
It was Autumn Flowers ruled to be in the net for Liberty. And this is going to lead to a timeout for Coach Albrecht. Allen pushed it over. She thought she had been whistled for a moment. Nope. NC State point. Timeout. Liberty will take it with them.
This is the ACC. We're great.
A great attitude, and talked about the goals for this team. While yes, they are talented, it's more process-based right now than it is results, even though I think they're going to get some pretty good results this year also.
That's right. And Coach Albrecht did mention that while there is certainly a transition regarding the level of play, coaching at Belmont Abbey, Division II school, moving to a solid D1 program, he talked about the faith-based relationship that he had at Belmont Abbey and how similar that is to Liberty. So some of that transition he was already very much prepared for regarding the culture at Liberty University.
Embracing the culture of the university, and also, of course, in your first season as head coach, kind of starting your own culture within the volleyball program, right?
Tough balance.
Off the facade of the video board here. It stays on the NC State side. That gave Brian a swing at it, but Autumn Flowers was on the spot. And a nice sign for Liberty shortly after the timeout.
Good close from Flowers. Also really like that pin set on the side from Elizabeth Helmick. She takes her block way inside, allows for Autumn Flowers to close, put her paws on the ball for an easy block.
Talk about the previous head coaching experience for Coach Albrecht. Also had some beach experience. I know you love that, Paul.
Oh, I love that talk. He talked a lot about that connection with a teammate, and when you're on the beach, you really only have one teammate. You travel with them, you live with them, they are your coach. He likes to bring that mindset to the squad of 6, just with the mindset of being a good teammate, connecting with each other in a positive manner, and allowing for the team to coach each other out on the floor.
I think we're just making sure that the book is good with substitutions here. You guys got to swap some stories pre-match, talking about some Michigan beach volleyball. There were elephants involved, Paul. I didn't catch all of it.
Yes, it's not often an elephant is involved, but in fact, he played at a tournament that I once played in Muskegon, Michigan, and once a year at Muskegon, they march the elephant from the zoo down to the beach to wrap up the summer at a summer festival. So he wasn't there for that one, but when elephants come up in a beach conversation, you know it's going to be a unicorn of a talk right there. So, or an elephant, as it were.
Yeah. So, Coach, let's talk about the elephant in the room.
Or the elephant on the beach.
Court. Yeah. All right, we got the book sorted out. Liberty's cut it to 4 here, and a free ball. That's one of the things that the Flames wanted to do, to use the NC State block to their advantage, and it's Helmick off the feed from Krause.
Good choice to go back to Helmick. Helmick with some quality swings, though that her first kill for a point. She has swung well over on the right side.
Madison Williams for NC State. Out of the back row, it's Backus.
Our first look at a back row attack, and it was the right time for Liberty to run that one. I like the tempo there too. A great shot of the tempo. That was not a moon ball, more of a bick to allow for the kill from Backus from the back row, prompting the timeout from Coach Slabay and NC State.
That's been a 5-1 Liberty run since they burned a timeout. What have you seen change, Paul?
Well, the momentum came after that timeout from Liberty, 8-2, as you pointed out. But since then, Liberty really collected themselves. They never really played like they were down in that 8-2 run. You didn't see shoulders hanging. You didn't see palms up, frustration, as if this game was already out of control. So that timeout, they really just got collected. And I think since then, their passes have been a little bit more off the net, allowing for some offense. Some tight play earlier on allowed for NC State to take advantage of those mistakes.
Well, we mentioned some of the newness for Liberty, right? New acting head coach, 9 newcomers on the court, but this is what they returned from last year. It was new also last year that they were in Conference USA, moving from the ASUN, but they do return the CUSA Defensive Player of the Year in Madison Blank. They do return Cameron Backus, who you saw him just get the kill out of the back row, and so they're kind of...
Conference USA, very, very heavy and nationally ranked if you consider Western Kentucky getting votes in the NCAA top 25.
Yeah, and Western Kentucky has been the measuring stick for the last 5 years in the conference, and so Liberty looking to disrupt their reign at the top. All right, out of the NC State timeout, we'll see how the Wolfpack adjusts. Strong net presence there, tracking to the other side. And Helmick had to go with the soft serve there. Kate Peterson is in setting for the Wolfpack. They have used 2 setters so far this season. She redshirted last year for NC State. Sets up Madison Williams.
A good block midway through that rally. Jada Allen got the block. Now there was coverage on the Liberty side, but that block really turned the tides to the rally to be advantage NC State. Eventually, Madison Williams got it to go down after 3 attempts during the same rally.
Again, NC State didn't play this past weekend. Hit the road, traveled to beautiful Omaha, Nebraska, where they went 1-2 in the Blue Jay Invitational. Played some good competition as NC State was in the net there, Point Flames. When you start off with Creighton.
Creighton's a solid team, and with Nora Sis now in her senior year, she just simply carried that squad, and I look for a long run from them. They have a senior setter in Kendra Waite, who is fantastic as well. So Creighton should be mentioned early and often throughout this season. A tough matchup for NC State in that first opening tournament.
You know, we talk about the CUSA, the ACC, and we'll talk about the conference as we go along here in the broadcast. ACC has never been better, not just from the top of the top to also the depth of the league. It has gotten so much better. An NC State team that finished 5th in the league last year and was heartbroken to be left out of the NCAA tournament. Confident that 5th this year will get you into the tournament, but it is going to be really difficult in this league because of the talent and the depth. And so a good test for them to start off the season against an opponent like Creighton and say, hey, look, this is what we're going to be seeing in the league. Morris goes to Backus. Found the hands of Sophie Groom. Madison Williams there as well. Great diving dig by Lowry. Now tight to the net. Backus able to stay out of the netting. In the middle, it's the transfer. Sophie Groom. Well, you mentioned in the ASUN, Stetson, good program. That's where she comes from, an immediate impact transfer.
Good work by her. It's her first swing of the ball game. She is effective. One of the things that is the MO for her, she can really get some lift. Already lengthy at the middle. Looking forward to seeing her action now in her 3rd season of play, first for NC State.
Backus with an answer. But talking to Coach Schlabay, we asked him about Sophie Groom and her impact, and he said, you know, she's really bouncy, helps us offensively, good blocker as well. So she's able to help us really in both facets, and she was able to learn quickly, right? Kind of thrown into things when you transfer in, just in different gyms, there'll be different expectations. And really, after the first couple of weeks, when she kind of took everything in, she clicked in with everyone. And again, there's not that many newcomers on this team. So she was able to kind of quickly go with the flow of the NC State program.
And for Groom, one of the things that was a challenge for her coming in January, Coach Schlabay mentioned, first 3 weeks, she was really working to adjust to the culture in the gym. But pretty much after that, she had settled in. Good for her to get an entire spring with the NC State squad prepping for this coming season. So we get a look at her numbers from last year, and that ASUN all-freshman squad in 2022 is just as glaring. So she has really kind of had an upward trajectory with her play, but to see if that continues in the Wolfpack uniform.
Again, NC State off of the facade of the video board. It's all fine as long as it comes back on your side and you still have a hit remaining. But Liberty off a free ball, able to terminate with Helmick.
Helmick continues to be the go-to in trouble spots. That only her second kill, but she's been getting them in key long rallies. 2 kills hitting at 400 midway through this first set.
Talking about impact transfers, the southpaw Elizabeth Helmick, 4 years at James Madison. Her experience very helpful to a Liberty team looking to replace some pieces. Courtney Bryant pushing for more and more playing time. They say she has such a high ceiling and are excited for what they expect this to be a breakout year for her. There she is again.
What a wonderful set from Naomi Cabello. She had to take it from an angle and still work the shoot set to the outside. She's able to locate that properly, really preventing the block of Liberty from getting in position. Good set by Cabello.
13 kills for Bryant in the first weekend. Good hustle from the Wolfpack, and they keep it up. It was Allen sprawling to the floor to save that ball.
And we'll get a challenge from NC State. The challenge is going to be 4 contacts on the side of Liberty. So during the rally, the play was allowed to continue because of a presumed block touch on the side of NC State. But of course, the contention from Coach Slabé is that there was no touch on the NC State side. Therefore, 4 touches would be called for Liberty. That's the review.
R1, Michael O'Connor, D. Bachelor at the table, going to review things. So one thing we know for sure, right? Great hustle defensively from NC State on that point just to keep it alive. It was Bryant, it was Sydney Daniels, and then Jade Allen. How she got it over from that angle, it's worth another look or two.
Now, that was a beautiful save without a doubt at all. Wonderful save there.
But again, this is not what the review is. NC State challenging. There were 4 hits on the Liberty side.
And that's the one they're looking for right there.
Did Allen block that, or was it the tape?
And that's a hard one to review. Andrew, you've said for years that a block touch is often the most difficult review to get and to overturn.
Look at the NC State back row there. Stokes and Cabello both putting their hands up saying, hey, that was 4. And I got to say, at least from what we've seen so far, Paul, I don't think Allen touched it. That looked pretty clearly.
Yeah, it certainly looked
rolling across the tape.
Sure looked like no touch on the side of NC State, but a boom play. It's easy to review and see from certain angles, but from the officiating standpoint, sometimes not. And of course, the review will be overturned. So good challenge by Coach Slabé, earning the point. 4 touches means that the play is called dead there. The point awarded to NC State.
So a good challenge for head coach Lucas Slabé. They stretch the lead back up to 4. And Coach Slabé, he can do it all, right? Dealing with a little spot on the floor. He was a little disappointed as Stokes drops that in for an ace. He was a little disappointed going 1 and 2 in the opening weekend, right? They knew that they were testing themselves, but were hoping to come away. And not just from a wins and losses perspective, he said, but just the sharpness with which they played. We're hoping with the experience they brought back that they were going to play a better brand of NC State volleyball than they saw in the first 3. But as he said, they had some time to sharpen things.
They really did, and the theme from that interview was clean. He continued to mention, we need to be cleaner, we need to be cleaner. Well, 6 straight days of practice after that tournament certainly was an opportunity to clean up the problems on his squad.
There's a lot more to playing clean than just attack errors, right? But only 2 so far for NC State. Offensively, they have been pretty clean and siding out 2/3 of the time, and now almost 70%, including that one.
Got to give some credit to the Liberty block. They've touched up a lot of swings from NC State. They haven't all been stuffs. Only one block technically credited for a point for Liberty, but they've touched many others to keep rallies alive to thwart the NC State percentage.
Cabello and Rice out, Peterson in. No touch, point Flames.
Jada Allen with the right idea. She was trying to rotate and go deep into the right back, but she got underneath it just a little bit. That ball sailed on her well long.
NC State out of system, but didn't matter right there for Jada Allen defensively. Stokes hits the deck. Set Backus in the back row again. Found the back line.
And when we talk about clean, those are the kinds of points where being a little unclean on the NC State side allowed for an opportunity for Liberty. Another back row attack successful for Backus.
4 kills now for Cameron Backus. So give her 20 on her young season. And an ace from Courtney Bryant.
Good serve from Bryant, putting pressure on Cameron Backus. Backus had some hesitation as to whether or not to play it, and it was that hesitation that prevented her from a perfect pass. That ball glances off her arms and out. Timeout called by Liberty. I like this timeout here. This game's still well in range, but for NC State, looking to try to get some momentum. 8-2 was the score early on before Liberty really stepped on the gas. Since then, it's been a back and forth affair. Now NC State, though, only 5 points away from the first set of this matchup.
So the Wolfpack out of the ACC. We touched on it earlier, right? The league is as...
Yikes. There's no off game in this league this year.
It's going to help the RPI. You're going to have some chances. Of course, you're going to be tested, but you're going to have some chances for some marquee wins like NC State got last year, beating Louisville. All right, 14 returning players. You knew that. Just the 3 newcomers. They got a big class coming in the next year, but with so much returning, it's a team that brings back that core and a couple, as you saw, all ACC talents in Brizard and Rice. You got a senior setter as well in Naomi Cabello, so a lot to love for Coach Slabay and his Wolfpack. Good job defensively. Krausen kept it alive. It leads to a point.
That back row attack continues to be the outlet for Liberty, so they go long rallies, and when in doubt, to finish it out, how about give it to Backus on that back row attack? That's her 3rd back row attack kill. That accounts for 3 of her 5 kills on the day.
Brizard back in the front row.
Good first ball side out from Brizard. No need to get into a long rally. Perfect pass allows for that shoot to Brizard. She gets the tool for the point.
NC State claiming no touch. One was spotted, and the kill goes to Kate Gammer.
Oh, good catch of that video review off of the off of the side of the wrist of Madison Williams. Credit that point to Liberty.
A good pass from Bryant. Williams terminates.
Williams, much like last year, they used Williams over on the left side, and then in certain rotations, particularly her last of 3 in the front row, she'll stay over on the right. She's been dynamic on both pins so far today.
Madison Williams, healthy, See the smile, playing happy. Overcame a couple of injuries. She started her career at Texas. She said last year was the first year where she was really feeling, normal physically, but you're still just coming back, right? So now to build upon it this year, she said she learned so much from herself, about herself, right? When you go through those tough times and those injuries. And so they expect a big year from her, no doubting her talent.
She's got a big arm, always has been able to hit a heavy one when she is in position. No doubt one of the biggest swingers for NC State.
All right, Liberty has cut it to 2. Out on the far line.
Good.
They have cut it to 1.
Pardon me. Good service run from Aubrey Atchison on the service line. It is going to prompt the timeout from NC State. Good pushback on the set, but that set just a little bit tight, resulting in the finish over on out of bounds.
All right, so we have had a competitive set 1, about what we expected.
Very much a back and forth affair. We had highlighted the notion of clean as one of the things that Coach LeMay had talked about yesterday in our conversation. We're seeing what that looks like. Serve receive could be a little bit cleaner. NC State is not generating the kind of offense they want off of the serve. Atchison with some good serves right now on the service line. NC State only hitting at a 184 clip.
So you saw both coaches, right? These timeouts so valuable to make your adjustments. For those of you unaware, Paul, you coached for a number of years. Take me through the situation as a head coach. Put your head coach hat on for me. What are you telling your team?
I think mostly for NC State, and what I noticed, there wasn't a whole lot of talk in the huddle. They spent most of the time letting the team huddle and figure it out. You can do that with a mature group. We talked about 14 returners. Therefore, that as NC State is hanging out, their only adjustment is to settle in on the service reception. So we see assistant coach Jeremiah Ganadakis laying out the play on service reception out of the timeout. Coach Todd Garvey also drawing things up, the assistant coach for the Flames. Key point in this ball game. Good serves, of course, by Atchison. Of course, on service reception, the pass is of the utmost importance here.
Cabello has to go well into the back row to track it. Groom on the spot. Not exactly what Jeremiah Ganadakis drew up for NC State, but they'll take the point.
Now, Ganadakis could probably draw up some funky stuff. We got to know him really well over the last few years. This certainly not in the playbook, but what is in the playbook is Groom making a heady play, using her length to take care of that problem and put the ball down for the point.
Well, NC State was ready for the slide, and it's set point.
Good seal over there by Courtney Bryant to drop that left arm in so that the block is down for the point.
Service error puts it back on the Flames side of the court. Set point number 2. Daniels ready to check in. It'll be Krausen to serve.
And Daniels will drop into the passing pattern along with Sky Stokes and also number 12, Courtney Bryant, to try to get a perfect pass here to get the finish.
Krausen served too long, and NC State takes set number 1, 25-22.
And make a smart shot, but she really does so to perfection for NC State.
And Coach LeMay told us, as great as she has been, we have even higher expectations for her. We think she can get even better, and a lot of that is her focus, her prep off the court. He was very complimentary of what she's done in those facets entering this season as her senior year. As we see the Flames get off to a nice start with Flowers.
A little bit more on Amanda Rice. One of the things that sometimes gets forgotten by athletes and even coaches sometimes is the on-court stuff is good, but there's so much more to developing your game. Really being focused in the weight room, really not just watching video, but watching video to learn and to develop your game. It takes a while to develop that keen sight and keen understanding of video review for scouting and to improve your game. Amanda Rice's next expectations here this senior year is to up her game in those areas.
Tucked into the back corner, and the kill is good. Helmick at it again. He said, you know, life is a lot easier when Amanda Rice is firing on all cylinders. But there's going to be matches, you know, he said she is human, where other players are going to have to pick up the slack. And so they feel like they have that depth. They feel like they have that balance. We should know, speaking of some of their depth, Martina Leoniak unavailable today. You didn't see her in the first set. You're wondering, she is unavailable today. So even out in this match, again, didn't really miss a beat with Madison Williams, Ava Resort, Courtney Bryant, again with Leoniak out, all contribute. Speaking of Courtney Bryant.
Right on cue, Courtney Bryant, the Cabello set. What Cabello does on that set is that she does not telegraph. She holds her hands high and waits before delivering at the last second, allowing for Bryant to go line wide open spaces for her.
Courtney Bryant. Another kill. Well, she is from the state of Virginia. Yeah, some athletes, when they're playing against a school from their home state, gives them a little bit more. Didn't get a chance to ask her, you know, if this one means just a little bit more. But she's from Hardy, Virginia, and she said, you know, it's great because it's close enough that her family is able to come to every match.
And that's so meaningful for a lot of kids. Some kids want to get away and be very distant, but in the case of Courtney Bryant, of course, not too far away from home, and now obviously shining out on the floor today.
Cabello goes to the middle, the connection not there this time.
That's the second time we've seen that ball sail on Jada Allen. First time it was off of the set of Kate Peterson, this time off of Cabello. So Allen trying to get a little bit better chemistry offensively today.
Rice had it sent back. Blaine was there, a second effort. Here come the Flames. Oh, a pancake by Daniels. And Bryant puts it on the back line.
Wonderful save by Daniels as she comes and dives. And we'll see a challenge called by Nolan Albrecht. Actually, he's discussing whether or not to challenge, but from our vantage point, it certainly looked like that was up. Great save.
It looks like Coach Albrecht is not going to challenge. Wow, does not get any better than that by Sydney Daniels. And it's one thing to get the pancake too. It's another to pay it off with the immediate kill right after.
That's right. And when you're Daniels, that's what you want, is you've made the save, now convert. There's nothing worse than making the big save, but then there's a hitting error or something. You almost get deflated on that dig. The team still loves it, but there's nothing better than a termination off of a ball like that.
Amelia Tomlinson serve. One of the newcomers for this Liberty program, the freshman from Waynesboro, Virginia. NC State, a quick side out. Take a 6-5 advantage.
The rhythm was a little bit off for Madison Williams, so she took a little off it, went high hands. That threw off the entire backcourt defense of Liberty. The ball glances off of hands and out of bounds. Big swing from Kate Gammer. Gammer went up and reached, elevated, took it from the peak, was able to hit a quality angle around the block of Jada Allen.
With Backus out, Gammer with the team lead in kills entering this match. 56, better than 3 per set. Picking up where she left off last season. They'll bump it along. And Blaine does not miss those.
Just a mistake on the NC State side, so Blaine takes care of business. Last year's Defensive Player of the Year for Conference USA, picking up where she left off here in Reynolds Coliseum.
No touch, point Flames.
The coaching staff of NC State looking around, asking about a touch or some other error on the Liberty side, and instead we're going to get a timeout from Coach Slade. Liberty with a lead here early. NC State was up 8-2 in set number 1, but Liberty up 8.
Timeout, Coach Slade and NC State. Paul, they have leaned on Courtney Bryant quite a bit here in the first set plus.
And the 6 kills is solid, but that 400 hit percent is really where it's at. She has stacked the stat book with a service ace to go along with it, and she's also shouldering the load on service reception for NC State, as out of the break, Ava Brazard with a quality swing over on the left. It's the decoy from Jada Allen holding that block of Blaine, preventing Blaine from getting over to close the block. Plenty of room for Brazard to get the point.
So out of a timeout, they go to number 7. She provides their 7th point. Overpass here. Madison Williams will take care of that.
Quickly out of the timeout, 2 points for NC State. NC State found themselves down 8-6, but 2 really good-looking points for NC State. The kill from Brazard, then the finish on the overpass.
Madison Williams, a self-proclaimed huge foodie, okay? That was one to feast on.
Well, she would say, and I saw her whisper, yummy. There's nothing more yummy than being in the front row, giving an overpass. You almost don't want to overdo it on that swing, which she used good self-control to take the snap and get the point. Tasty point for Madison Williams.
That was Morris going over in 2. Again, she's front row setting for the Flames. They've been working on her attacks with that left hand. There's the connection in the middle. It's Peterson and Groom. And if NC State can start to get a little more offense from the middle, it could be troublesome.
Haven't seen the gap set yet from Groom. Beautiful shot and beautiful timing coming from Kate Peterson on that one. Maybe even still not at the peak of her reach, but nobody available. Groom puts it down.
Get to see the vertical from Groom, who competed in track and field in high school. High jump was one of her events, one of several. Quick rebuttal here from Backus and the Flames.
Backus always seems to have the answer. In set number 1, she was getting some critical points. She actually leads all attackers. She's got 7 kills on the day. That leads both squads so far.
We have seen Krausen, who again is trusted to come in there, play back row, but also handle serving. She finished the first set with a service error, and so some of those starting to pile up for the very talented freshman.
The only adjustment you could make there, if you're Coach Albrecht, is to allow Morris to rotate to the back row and let her serve before making the switch to Krausen, if you feel like you could get a better serve from Morris.
I think there's a lot of trust there in the relationship, coach, freshman, setter. And he said, you know, he's been working a ton with both setters. And while they both share the same first name, same spelling, Charlie with an I, said they both have different personalities, different styles. And Krausen, so they really connect on the analytics of things. That she's very analytical, really thinks through. He is a self-described volleyball nerd, and so they really connect on that level.
Yep, and I like that while Krausen is analytical, the flip side is Charlie Morris is kind of the Energizer Bunny, kind of loose and free, you know, likes to get pumped up and really at it. That makes for a unique but super fun contrast in the gym.
Yeah. Another service error for the Flames. For Krausen, some of those analytics come from her dad, David, who was drafted by the New York Mets. She is from College Station. He spent some time as a baseball coach at Texas A&M, now is a scout for the Phillies.
I know those analytics absolutely come into play in the MLB in all of those efforts in baseball. Everything's about the stats and the analytics. As to particularly when to move guys up in the minor leagues, so important. So not surprisingly, the analytical one is Charlie setting for Liberty.
She was able to pick up that. I don't know if that was entirely intentional. The timing wasn't quite there from Bryant, but boy, it was effective.
Sometimes it works. When it works, it works. Now, when they go back and review the video, she's going to say she planned it all along, but we'll have to see what her poker face is during that meeting.
14-11, NC State as the Flames will burn a timeout.
Other attackers, you said it right, Andrew. If your offense isn't going super well, you got to be able to rely on other teammates. Today, they absolutely are, and no doubt, Rice is not going to slump for very long, though temporarily only 2 kills on the day.
So the Flames with the timeout, you could see Coach Albrecht in that timeout trying to read his body language and almost as if he's going to tell him, hey, just relax a little bit, kind of settle in. A lot of love and positivity paramount to his coaching style and that Liberty program.
That certainly was his vibe in the pregame meeting as well. You just got a very affable guy who just talked about making sure that everybody was cool and calm, and his team reflects that out on the floor for sure.
Big block. Allen there for the Wolfpack, along with Bryant.
And again, the location on the pin of Bryant to perfectly locate so Jada Allen can do the rest. But then Jada Allen, of course, the seasoned senior, properly located, drops her hands down so that the block is in the court on the Liberty side.
Cabello right to Amanda Rice. They've been doing that for years here at Raleigh.
They have, and that was a well-located set on the jump set out at 10 feet. Cabello makes it look easy, but she was on the run, headed toward the middle of the court, still able to locate to Rice. Rice gets the job done. Now talk about breaking the slump. Amanda Rice with a couple of kills. She might have heard me mentioning that over here on the sideline. Since then, a couple of balls delivered to her and no mistakes on either way. Cabello smartly delivering to Rice against one block. Rice gets it done.
And NC State starting to pour it on here in the second set with another ace. Sky Stokes serving effectively, nothing new. She was their leader in aces a year ago. And a change here for Liberty as well, as Coach Albrecht will make a sub. The margins so slim there between ace and service error.
It's a very difficult serve going from 1 to the shallow short 4. It's one of the most difficult serves in all of volleyball. That ball just barely short. They were trying to target the newcomer on the floor, Carly O'Brien, freshman from Dorman High School, South Carolina, seeing her first action today.
There's Jada Allen in the middle, making a nice adjustment on the fly, literally.
And we want to talk about, this isn't just athleticism, this is more body control and a smart decision not to go too hard. Instead, recognizes that the block timing will be off. She pushes up into it, gets the point.
Helmick with the kill.
The open-handed beach dig from Amanda Rice in the backcourt. She wasn't even able to get her platform together. Opens up her hand, and she just took it with one hand and popped it with her right hand. Good up the first time around. Second time, a little bit too much on the offensive side of Liberty. Amelia Tommins on the service line, freshman, has been a regular server for Liberty today.
And NC State quickly sides out against Tomlinson, who graduated Western Albemarle High School early. That is such a big advantage when you can enroll in college in the spring. Got to Liberty in January, and so able to train with the program. And even though she's a freshman, right, you get that extra semester of training and just adjusting to college life. NC State with an answer for Blaine this time. Lead back up to 8.
That makes such a difference. We talked about Sophie Groom and that challenge and that change, but Sophie Groom already had 2 years of experience at Stetson. But the difference for Tomlinson is coming out of high school, she had to get used to college classes, what a college weight room feels like. There's a lot of pressure in there too.
Programs as well, and so it's just something that, right, Big Ten volleyball, we know how great Big Ten volleyball has been and can be, but I think it's helping grow the sport, is it not, when you can come to your local university in the ACC, which now spreads coast to coast, and you can see that kind of volleyball. And we were talking to Coach Slabé a bit, and he was saying, just how much parity there is and how much better everyone has gotten, not just his program. And I asked him, what do you attribute that to? I was just curious, someone with his background, both in the international level and at college, in the era of the transfer portal. And one of the things he said was that, the game, I think, got even more popular 10, 15 years ago. And the level of coaching at the youth levels is better as well. So there are just more better players across the country. Yeah,
and you hit it there just at the end. Not only more better players, the coaching is getting better. As the interest in the game gets better, so too is the coaching at the younger levels. So now players are coming up more developed and thus much more depth in all of the NCAA, and particularly the level of play in the ACC.
Sophie Groom into the front row and immediately extends this Wolfpack lead.
Smart move by her again. Risky business when you're at the net. What you don't want to do is touch the net getting too ambitious, but instead Sophie Groom smartly gets it done.
Talking about the game growing, right? And Sophie, as a middle blocker at 6'2", certainly one of those players. Her dad, Chris, wanted her to play basketball. She certainly thought about playing basketball. You talk about running track too, but at the end of the day, hey, I'm going to play college volleyball.
Well, it certainly has worked out for her, and that is kind of the question now. Women's basketball is certainly growing and getting more eyeballs, but so too is volleyball. It just means more opportunities for young women to play, and that is the most important part. 15 years ago, there weren't as many opportunities with the great coaching and the great interest. Now you've got the women's basketball, got volleyball on full display, and it just speaks to the level of play, and it speaks to the improvement for opportunities for all women athletically here in college and beyond. They were one-point passes that could not generate the dynamic offense that was the highlight of set number 2.
That's going to be a lift. Now, they have gotten rid of the double hit, the double contact on setting, but you can still be called for a lift, or in that case, kind of a throw, right, from Morris.
Certainly, and a double sent over the net, if done, is still illegal, but in that case, the carry still results in an immediate point to NC State.
Morris trying to feed Backus, and NC State ready.
And that's the point of focus from NC State. We talked about Backus out of the break being the go-to player. 29 attempts, more than any other player for Liberty today. So, of course, the double block on Backus is so important there. Getting the stuff was NC State.
Backus from Edmond, Oklahoma. Edmond North High School, where she was Gatorade Player of the Year all the way back in 2019. Same high school as NC State women's basketball player Lacey Steele. A connection there between the Pack and the Flames. Then she went to Lipscomb for a couple of years, really the spring and fall of 2021 before coming to Liberty. And she has been a star.
Quality start by NC State. They have really disrupted the offense of Liberty. They're getting the attack from Amanda Rice. Amanda Rice now starting to heat up. 5 kills, hitting 400. She was sub 100 midway through the second set. Really starting to heat up now for the Wolfpack.
Morris to the middle. Madison Blaine. Again, how good was she against UC San Diego with the 10 kills on the 11 attacks? Yeah, she did something remarkable. You mentioned CUSA Defensive Player of the Year last year. Very impressive. But maybe more so is that she was first team All-South region for the ABCA. That hadn't been done by a Flame since 2012. So you do something that hadn't been done in over a decade, which is be a first team all-region member. That's really, not to take anything away from Defensive Player of the Year, but that's one of those awards that you'll have on the mantle forever.
That's right, and she earned it for that defense. It's the block that is so intimidating by her in position most of the time. Evidence there.
You were saying?
Most of the block there from Backus, but who was coming to help but Madison Blaine. Blaine was in position, and that was a pick your poison for Rice. If Rice goes too far into the angle, she goes into the teeth of Blaine. Instead, right into Backus for the stuff.
Cabello goes to Bryant. Backus able to search it out. Morris did get the second contact. Nice defense by Erica Lowry. What a swing. That goes outside the antenna. Point Flames. What a swing by Elizabeth Helmick.
Almost like a rubber band. Great save there by libero Lowry. And now the rip over on the left side. Just overwhelming. Number 24, Sydney Daniels. Daniels in good position, but she got popped on the big, big swing from Helmick.
Rice cuts it across. You said she has really started to get into a rhythm here. And it's not just, you mentioned earlier, see ball, hit ball, right? She's picking out all the different angles. She has a number of different shots that she can use.
Yep, and Rice has really shown that here in the third set. I really like that response from her. Not seeing a ton of balls, not having the best connection sets 1 and 2, but now really starting to dial it up. And that's the sign of a seasoned veteran that can turn up their game, figure things out, and make a bigger contribution, even if things didn't start as well as they would have liked.
Cabello goes with the quick set. And the connection with Jada Allen, who reached a nice milestone in the opener in Omaha against Creighton. Reached 500 career kills. She adds to her tally here. I think there was a touch. Liberty asking for it, and there was no touch.
And Coach Albrecht looked over at his team to say, hey, are you guys sure? Well, they kind of backed off of that one. They're going to go ahead and allow for the next serve.
I tell you, I thought I wouldn't challenge it either. I was not sure.
Well, from this vantage point, it was certainly very, very close.
It's close.
But that's where you really love the trust between athlete and coach.
Sure.
Because if the athletes say, hey, whoa, coach, we're positive we can get this point here, well, Coach Albrecht's going to pull it out, the challenge card, even though he is well distant from the call.
Oh, Morris is fired up after that kill from Blaine. Again, she plays with that energy, that spirit, and we see it here.
And she was pumped up right after she said it. That's one of those set it and forget it. You know you put one up and your girl is going to put it down. So she was already celebrating.
Set it and forget it. That was a crock pot set right there.
There you go.
Now we talked about the two different personalities for the setter, and Morris just has that great attitude. And you know what, we talk about Krausen and the analytics. Hey, Morris is very sharp too. I don't want it to come across, oh, just energy, okay? She was valedictorian in high school, Paul. Her GPA was above 5.4.
My math isn't as good as hers is because I don't know how she could crack a 5.4. See, I'm old school where a 4.0 is just where it was at. But hey, what little do I know? 5.4, amazing.
I will tell you that we didn't have enough AP classes at my high school to even reach a 5.4. That is incredible.
Get a look at the off speed. They've been banging away. Had been Courtney Bryant. Several repetitions, so then the defense was on its heel. That was the right time for that roll shot. Great choice by Bryant a moment ago.
Well, after NC State really took over that second set, what do you think of the response so far from Liberty?
Great response from Liberty. They just keep plugging away offensively. It's really not their best. They're capitalizing on some quality serves, a couple of blocks here and there. They're actually hitting 0.67 and yet still tied at 9 with NC State. So hanging in there. If Liberty can get just a little bit more offense going, you could see them with even more momentum here in the third set.
Gammer got way up off the deck that time to put it down. The senior from Encinitas, California.
Good reach by Gammer, and then Gammer takes a little bit off of it to roll in front of the libero in Sky Stokes.
Congratulations in order to Kate Gammer and her new husband, Brett, who plays hockey at Liberty. Kate Phillips prior to this year, so a nice summer wedding this past summer. Very happy for the two. That's awesome.
Certainly, and if you had heard the name Kate Gammer and you weren't sure who you were following, and we kept saying, well, hey, the returner, Gammer, in the book, she goes by Phillips up until this particular season after her wedding this summer.
And I will say from experience, just going to throw this out there for the Liberty fans. I didn't Google it myself, but I would imagine that if you want to gift the Gammers something, their registry's probably online, okay? Not too late to get them a little wedding gift.
I would say the Gammers welcome the shout out.
Brizard just does sneak that over and earns the point for the Wolfpack.
Good save midway through that point. Sophie Groom was caught not able to go and block, so she had to peel and eat the ball. Peel's available to pop the ball up, eventually getting the point, but that's a very heady play by a middle blocker to get back into the play if they're not blocking and still make a save. Another heady play by Groom. This time the block falling down in that of Cameron Backus. So when Backus was on her way down, that push into the late hands of Backus for another point.
Just long, good communication along the Flames back line. Let that serve sail deep. NC State in its home opener, trying to finish this thing off in 3, but the Flames playing well here in the third frame. Cabello to Brizard, that was tight. And she can score in so many different ways, right? And it's one thing to be able to score when you're in rhythm, when you're in flow, everything's perfect, but that's what impresses me so much, Paul, is to be able to, when you're flying towards the net like that, you know the block is already there, and she's still able to just use, is it peripheral I mean, how can you be that consistent in such tight areas like that?
A lot of that is training, and Brizard has really been quite successful at that, even since her freshman year at NC State. The sign of a good outside, as you said, isn't in rhythm, no block. Most players at this level can bang that ball down. But she had to get herself out of trouble against forearms. She makes that decision on the fly, gets the tool for the point.
Well, Paul was talking about the balance coming into this set, and as you see, 6 players with 5 or more. Not a kill to be found here. The attack error sends it back to the Flames.
Great
They'll
choice.
get Helmick back on the floor.
Pardon me. Great choice by Courtney Bryant. Wide open room between the left back and left front. She sails it just long. That was a smart play, just needs a little bit better execution.
Change here from Coach Albrecht as we see Morris in the back and serving. And NC State sides out and becomes NC State the first to 15. Sky Stokes has had a ton of success serving and almost had more, but for an incredible set by Morris. That 6'3" frame helping her immensely there.
Great save by Charlie Morris. That is looking like an overpass.
Yeah.
But the lengthy 6'3" Charlie Morris gets a save and gets it in the hands of Blaine for the finish.
Coach Albrecht saying, you know, she's physical and she's just kind of learning just how good she really is and can be.
And it's a process, and when you're a setter though, and you're out on the floor, you're expected to elevate that play and have that learning curve go very, very fast when you're charged with running the floor for your squad.
And she got some experience last year, 14 matches. She played in 28 total sets, but as the backup setter. NC State not gonna get it over in 3 this time. And out of the break, 3 straight go the way of the Flames.
Liberty in a good spot here as we get a look at Charlie Morris having a good run for her squad as the setter for Liberty.
Rice had been feeling it, hadn't missed in a while. That one brushes past Morris.
And the challenge is going to be that the block put up a touch. It would be an angle touch off the block of Madison Blaine will be what we're going to see a review on.
Yeah, and it would be the left hand of Blaine. That first look did maybe the middle ring finger of Blaine. Just go back here.
Well, that's a tough one to overturn. Good view there. But it's such a boom boom play. Did the finger get drawn back in a manner that can be easily seen?
NC State was successful on a challenge earlier. And why not challenge, right? We talked about this before, Paul, because as a coach, this is like, even if this stands, it's a 4-0 run, you might be wanting a timeout anyways. This will act as that, and it gives you a chance to win the point.
It certainly does, and if NC State does not win the overturn, then out of a prior timeout, 4 straight Liberty points. Liberty starting to connect. NC State, as they had in set number 2, had a stretch where they hit a few balls out to allow Liberty back into that set until NC State could close it out. Here, NC State having a hard time finding the floor on their swings.
And the call stands.
Carly O'Brien back on the service line, igniting this 3-point service run after the first point as the side out.
Nice dig in the back row, Carly O'Brien, and the Flames stay hot.
O'Brien in the right place in position against the Jada Allen gap set to make the dig. Eventually the transition kill, and that will prompt the Liberty time, or pardon me, that will prompt the NC State timeout. Now a 5-point run by Liberty.
So here comes Liberty. All of the history, but the here and now awfully impressive for the Mustangs. All right, NC State needing a point out of the timeout. Good swing from Bryant, but again, it's O'Brien on the spot. Rice this time. Yes.
Who do you go to when you're trying to get out of trouble out of the timeout? Eventually, the back, almost a 2-tempo set to Rice. Rice finishes the deal. Good work trying to work around a quality block of Madison Blaine. Blaine dropped her hands in, so Rice goes up and over that stretched out block to get the point.
Originally signaled a touch, but I think that was more just the line judge getting out of the way, changed it to out, and that is the call.
And a very frustrated coach, Lucas Slabe, he knows the responsibility of a line judge is to get out of the way of the play. Instead, the line judge got contacted by that attack, clearly making the ball called out of bounds.
Service error, back to Liberty.
3 rotations for Autumn Flowers now in the front row. Number 23, Madison Blaine, will get a serving substitution. I like this sub to get some defense out on the floor. Aubrey Atchison back out again. She put together a nice service run in set number 2.
Yeah, indeed she did, and that was when they got back into things. Oh, it just did teeter on the net and went over to the NC State side, as it almost does again, this time on the Liberty side. It's Gammer, stuffed. O'Brien keeps it up. Good rally here. Gammer ends it.
Great defense on the Liberty side. Team defense to keep things scrambling. Good save from Madison Williams on the other side, but O'Brien had to make a save, eventually keeping the rally going. Gammer then with the finish.
Last millisecond decision by Sky Stokes, and it was the correct one. She lets it go and earns the point.
You see a gasp of air from NC State as they watch that ball go just fractionally out of bounds. That could have been devastating for NC State. Instead, they pick up serve. Bryant on the back row.
Well, it all starts a pinpoint pass by Gammer. And Liberty, after that little push following the media timeout, they have stayed in front, able to keep the Wolfpack at a distance. Chance for the Flames to extend it even further. Gammer again. No touch.
Oh, and working to get out of the way of the ball was Courtney Bryant. That was a real difficult one. She had to really dodge. Otherwise, that ball would have glanced off of her. It didn't miss her by much. Otherwise, it would have been a touch out of the back row and a point to Liberty.
You can see NC State as they try to claw back here in the third, going more aggressive on the serve. It has not paid off the last couple of times.
Key rotation for NC State with Madison Williams on the right side. And sure enough, Coach Slabe is going to call a timeout to try to get this rotation figured out. He's got Madison Williams along with Brizard and Groom in the front row. So what he's trying to do is draw something up. I think for Williams to get a free swing on the right side, she's found success in this rotation in previous parts of this ball game.
Well, Liberty playing better here in the third frame, and a big part of that, Kate Gammer now leading all attackers with 11 kills. Here's some of her handiwork, particularly in the third.
She just has continued to swing and up her game. Set number 1, she was playing at an okay level, but sets 2 and 3 starting to really get effective, particularly that tool coming into play on the last couple of points of that highlight. Good work by Gammer to take a 3-point advantage, looking to extend this match. NC State already up 2-0.
Gammer with her 25th career double-double earlier this year against Akron. She went for 19 and 11. You see she is closing in on a double-double here against NC State and is almost sure to get it if she can do what's goal number 1 right now for Liberty, which is force a 4th set.
And right now they are looking like the team that can do so. I think for Liberty and Coach Albrecht, it's possible that they were just waiting a while for their team to show what they can do out on the floor. What we've seen now from Liberty putting pressure on NC State, this is not because NC State is playing at a low level. Liberty's really upped their game here throughout this third set.
And credit to the Flames. Adjustment to Paige Overcash has come in the front row. First time we've seen her, and she's in crunch time. Well, NC State needed that point out of the timeout, and they get it. Sign of a well-coached team. There is Overcash for Liberty, the freshman from the state of North Carolina, from Ashe County.
And now 3 rotations with Amanda Rice in the front row. If they're going to make a push, they can do it with their strong lefty for NC State.
And she filled in for Backus when she was out. And Bryant just couldn't find that. So Coach Albrecht makes the sub, immediately pays off. Non-competitive serve there from Lowry. You don't see that too often.
Lowry has sailed a couple in this match, clearly getting underneath that one. She's trying to go aggressive down the right back line, but in that case, just missed.
Now Liberty needs to talk things over. Trying to force a 4th set.
And they'll have to face off against Sydney Daniel serve, who has just substituted into the ball game for NC State. NC State continues with that balanced offense. 8 kills leads the way for NC State with Bryant, but Sophia Groom with 6, 7 for Rice and Brizard, 5 each for Williams and Allen. Certainly for NC State, their ace in the hole, if we were hinting at poker a little earlier today, their ace in the hole, they can really go to anybody at any given time here out of this timeout.
So the NC State coaching staff getting together, and Coach Soleil has been able to keep his top assistants. Associate head coach Megan Warville-Carney, assistant Jeremiah Ganadakis, adding Mitchell Worthington in as well for this season.
We've been going back and forth really since Liberty put on a 5-point run to take an 18-15 advantage. Since then, really trading points. NC State can't afford to continue to trade points, otherwise Liberty will have taken this third set. So it's an important push here for NC State on the serve of Sydney Daniels.
Liberty has already traveled to Puerto Rico. They also went to Annapolis in the Kristen Dickman Invitational, able to go 2-1 there. So they've been on the road, well traveled, and some pressure points here against a crowd that has continued to add as we've gotten past the 5 o'clock hour. Out of the timeout, and a huge block for the Wolfpack, cuts it to 1.
Sophia Groom dropped that left arm down and into the blocking angle to get the stop. If she goes straight up, she doesn't get it, but instead she drops it down, is able to get the stop. Important point for NC State.
It is Raleigh's own Sydney Daniels, and a service error gives the Flames set point.
Elizabeth Helmick, the lefty, will enter into the game here for at least 3 rotations. They're looking to only need the one here with set point in their back pocket.
Rice. Who else?
How about the adrenaline from Amanda Rice? That's who you go to. Love that set, located perfectly, locating down the line. Hard swing from Rice to extend this set. A little timeout, non-timeout action from Liberty. Jenna Ott coming onto the floor for the first time.
Sky Stokes has been NC State's best server. Nearly an overpass. Rice again. Just missed the video board, which would have been NC State point. It's Courtney Bryant to tie it at 24.
Big swings by the NC State side, so Courtney Bryant takes about 25% off of it, goes a little bit more roll down in front of the middle back defender.
Morris sets Jenna Otts, who's into the match for the first time. And another set point for the Flames. Their third.
Another good choice for Courtney Bryant, but again, she missed in that same spot. She's trying to target the left back sideline. That ball sails out. She had the similar ball go out just like that moments ago.
Otts out. Helmick in. O'Brien to serve. Big spot here for the freshman. Tough serve. And the Flames do indeed take set number 3. 26-24.
To 15, as you pointed out, they had taken the lead, and they were really trading points on the heels of that quality defense was Liberty, to the tune of that third set win.
Liberty in the net. Autumn Flowers whistled.
Good close by her, just a little bit ambitious. That ball was touched up. Again, another ball touched up on the Liberty side, but the play negated by the net touch of Flowers.
And an ace from Daniels. Well, this NC State program, remember, they were off last weekend, so anxiously awaiting getting back onto the court and making their home debut in 2024. And they were almost through this match quickly. Now they've really got to bear down against a Liberty team looking to reverse sweep. And this is, take me through your mindset as a coach, Paul, right? Like, volleyball is so interesting because it is a set-to-set game. 2-0, best you can be. It's unlikely to sweep, though, right? It's tough to sweep. That if you don't get the sweep done, you can't close them out. That fourth set becomes crucial. You do not want to give, pardon the pun, but you don't want to give the Flames more oxygen. And if you can reach to that fifth set, now things get very tough.
That's right, and I'm a believer that if you can get it to game 5, then that means on that day the teams were playing even. Now maybe most days
anything can happen.
Yeah, exactly. Most days maybe NC State is supposed to be the ACC team. It's supposed to be on paper stronger than Liberty. Liberty has proved they can play with NC State. Proof is in that third set, and yes, you get to set 5, all bets are off. You can count on Liberty getting super punchy, particularly if set 4 is close late here.
Yeah, this sets up as a big set to me for both programs. From the Liberty perspective, again, new staff, a lot of new players. If they can show that they can compete with a team that has experience and probably should have been in the NCAA tournament a year ago, they know, hey, we have a chance to be really good this year. For NC State, they want to be cleaner. They want to be sharper. Can they finish this out, get that win? Because they've got a quick turnaround here. They're going to get on a plane tomorrow morning, fly down to Tampa, and play a couple this weekend. So they would like to build some momentum going into that trip.
They would, and that trip is not as easy as it may have first looked. They're going to play South Florida and North Florida. South Florida upset the University of Florida and Ohio State in their in the Florida tournament. It was the University of South Florida that actually won the University of Florida tournament. So South Florida won't be easy. North Florida won't be much better. So NC State absolutely needing to pick up some momentum here against a Liberty team that just continues to elevate their play, evidenced by that perfect block there.
Madison Blaine, 134 blocks a year ago, fourth most in a single season in Liberty program history. And again, the net presence from Liberty. They get a free ball and a chance to go ahead here in the early going. Stokes somehow kept it alive, crashing into the signage, and the point continues. And NC State wins the point on an incredible hustle play by Sky Stokes.
This is just all about effort. What a fantastic rundown by Stokes. Not just to get the touch on, but to get it up and playable and to survive that point. She's checking for marks, but hey, that's a beautiful save by Stokes, charging all the way to the bleachers for the point.
Wow.
And a miss hit is a great hit on the Liberty Flames side. Sometimes a miss hit, nobody in the gym knows where it's going to go, even the attacker. That one, the miss hit and the tip for the 5th point of the ball game for them, trying to diminish the hot play of Sky Stokes a moment ago.
Big swing by Gammer.
What a wonderful swing, and it's the decoy in the middle that holds on to that block. Gammer has open space with a perfect set. She goes straight down for the point.
Peterson to Brizard, sneaks it through the block.
And that tempo set makes the block just fractionally not on time. Autumn Flowers trying to get there, but she was a little bit low. And the result, give the point to Brizard.
Bryan out of the back row, you bet.
An interesting connection from Bryant. Bryant stepped underneath it, but then had to reach and then snap back down underneath it to get it done. I like the choice, though, by Kate Peterson to deliver that back row attack. We haven't seen that ball from NC State in quite a while.
Groom had it sent back. Try Brizard on the near side. That'll work. And NC State opening up a 3-point advantage.
Good coverage by Sky Stokes. It won't go in the book as a statistic. However, she was underneath for the Liberty block to keep the rally going. Eventually, the swing on the left side.
That ball ping-pongs its way through the NC State block.
Big swing from Kate Gammer now with 13 kills, hitting .312 on the day. Very effective, just jamming through the block of Grooms.
Brizard keeps it alive. Bryant, another back row swing. And they have not been able to stop Gammer. She's got 14 kills.
And when in doubt, just kick it out to Gammer. Gammer has been finding a way. If there's open space, she's been hitting through it, but she's been getting a lot of tools. Very smart plays by Gammer out on the left side.
Subs to be made. Here comes Cabello and Rice, who's been the leading attacker for NC State. Although Bryant just joined her with that back row kill, just joined her in a double figures, 10 apiece. Coach Slabay calling off his team. He knew that ball was out. It bounces near him.
He was talking his way through the entire point, relaying thoughts to his squad. There, the attack into Flowers. Flowers has yet to find the perfect seal to prevent from getting tooled. She's going to continue to work on that through this ball game.
Was there a touch? No. Point Wolfpack. We said Gammer's been using that block, tried to do it again. And Coach Albrecht thinks she may have.
This is a good review here. You talked a lot about how a review can break rhythm. I don't think that this is an intentional timeout. This is not the time to waste a challenge on the case of Albrecht. Instead, he's challenging because he believes that Gammer had the touch. However, this does break the rhythm of NC State. NC State right now with a 4-point advantage. Also under review is whether that ball was out. And during a review, you can review plays related to the play in question. So if that ball is called out, but they do notice that there's a touch, they can still overturn.
So a couple of things there. First of all, that ball is out. And we know that Bryant did not touch the sport immensely. There's two different ways to go about it. I think of Coach LeBay. I think of his passion for volleyball and intensity in striving, to be at the highest level in all aspects. And that was part of when he got the job at NC State, which is a great story. Because remember, he was the assistant for the U.S. national team. They did end up winning gold. He has a gold medal. He was, of course, supposed to be in the Tokyo Games in 2020. That got pushed back to 2021. So he was wearing both hats simultaneously for a time. And, credit to NC State to, understand the situation, allow him to do it. Of course, credit to Coach LeBay for being able to juggle both. And I think a big reason why he was able to do so is because, again, of just how detail-oriented and focused he is. And so when he inherited a program that had been struggling, a lot of what he was first tasked with was, hey, let's create winning habits. And that's been part of that runway, the building process. And now he's got his players in there. They have those habits. Everything is lined up for them. And again, he said, the last couple years they were building. They feel like, hey, we are absolutely good enough. Now it's time to go out there and get the job done.
And he talked a little bit about the dedication of pulling double duty. Give a lot of credit to the NC State staff for allowing for Coach LeBay to do that. But also you got to give credit to Coach Kirai, the head coach of the U.S. national team, for saying, hey, you made a commitment to NC State, but you made a commitment to us. I think you can do both. This is doable, and we need you on the U.S. Olympic team. So to be allowed to do both and then to bring home the gold, obviously, is the greatest reward there.
Like we saw in the third set, late, Paige Overcash is in. attack here on NC State. Paige is from Ashe County, North Carolina. Paul, you ever been through Ashe County?
I have not.
If you ever do, make sure you get the cheese. Legendary.
Ashe County cheese.
Ashe County cheese.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
What makes Ashe County cheese so I gotta ask. Set number 1, she was hitting at 167 with only a couple of kills, but now starting to go off. Her rotations have been solid, and you can see the location from her setters has really aided her in those swings. Cabello with quality location to Amanda Rice as she has upped her numbers to 12 kills. She leads all Wolfpack players, hitting at a 200 clip so far today.
Back from the break, and Liberty takes the first point.
Three rotations with Elizabeth Helmick now in the front row for Liberty. Good offensive situation for the Flames.
Always a good offensive situation when Amanda Rice is in the front row for NC State.
Most certainly lefty for lefty. Rice heading off against Helmick as we get a look at that first ball side out. There's nothing better for a squad than not getting into a long rally, but your first contact, transitioning that into an attack and a point.
Serve a little strong for number 10, Kate Peterson.
Peterson now in for 3 rotations along with Madison Williams. Madison Williams will take this one from the left side.
Good pass by Stokes. Just that easy for NC State.
Love that tempo, and when the pass is there, that's what NC State can do to you. Some teams can attack really successfully with off passes. Wolfpack are really much better off when they are in system.
Pack fast.
A good connection the first time from Kate Peterson over on the left to Williams. This time a little low to Jada Allen, but again, Jada Allen makes lemonade out of lemons. Maybe a low set. She's able to tip that one up and over, out of the range of any defender, prompting the timeout from Liberty.
NC State with a 6-point lead. That's got Sky Stokes enjoying the atmosphere here in Reynolds Coliseum.
Don't blame her. She had a play of the day, worthy play back a few sets ago. She chased all the way to the bleachers, dove, slid, made a save on the second ball, and popped it up enough for the rally to continue. Eventually the point awarded to NC State, but love that effort from libero Sky Stokes for the Wolfpack.
Oh, that was awesome. You know, she is really tight with setter Naomi Cabello and also back row player Eliza Villar. Both of them fluent in Spanish. So she says this year she's been getting better at conversational Spanish. And whatever language you speak, that play was incredible. Muy bien, muy bien.
Muy bien in any language, I would say. Just an absolutely fantastic play. And it speaks to her effort. What a great get out of the portal for Sky Stokes, now in her second and final year for NC State now.
And thankfully that signage, the Adidas and NC State signage, that is, I don't want to call it flimsy, but it's not sturdy, right? It's got some give to it because she went right through it.
She really did decimate that, and now they did stand it right back up, but it's a good thing that there's some give, though. She was coming at full steam. She could have could have dinged up an elbow or something if that was any harder.
It actually kind of slowed down her momentum before she went crashing into the first row. Flowers just could not find it. Got the initial touch, but that's so difficult to do, Paul. When you do, coaches always will tell you to look up, but it's much easier said than done because your first look is to go behind you, that you think that's where the ball is, and it's actually right overhead.
Toughest place to find on that ball is when it does go straight up and slightly behind you if you're a middle blocker.
Morris, good effort. Stokes. Nice dig by Lowry. Keeping the Flames in it. Only momentarily.
Gamer took a big rip at it, going for those high hands, which she has found success on the tool for most of this ball game, though that one sails long.
Detected by Stokes. NC State tipping more and more to great success.
Low calorie expended tip there by Brazard. Promising start here in season 4 of the Shannon Wells era.
And you see that last match at Ohio, that'll be a special one for Elizabeth Helmick, number 7 for Liberty, because her uncle, Jeff Carlston, is the head coach at Ohio. Out of the timeout, nice block. Flowers is there.
Just what Liberty needed, a stuff. Not only does it generate the point, but also some good momentum. There's nothing, no better feeling than a rejection out on the floor to get the point there. Jenna Ott getting in on that block. And the problem now, momentum or not, NC State with only 3 points left to wrap up this set. Coach Slabe coaching as if it was point number 1. I'm not surprised. He's looking for more intensity He's looking for more cleanliness out on the floor.
And you can't lose that intensity, right? That's one of the things that we love about volleyball is you cannot run out the clock. You cannot take a knee. You have to win the last point.
It's part of what makes volleyball so special. Sometimes it looks the rally nature of it is similar to me to tennis of the back and forth, and eventually you've got to win the last point. Get a good look at the bomb from Brazard deep into the power alley.
Match point, Wolfpack. This has been the response I think Coach Slabe would like to have seen after, again, Liberty really raised its level up in the third. But 25-15 in set number 2. And now trying to close out not just the set, but the match. Won't do it here. Cabello, a little oops, into the net. She's able to kind of smile that one off.
That's right. Well, and you could do that. You could do that with a 9-point advantage.
Gammer, much too strong on the serve, and NC State opens up the home schedule with a win in 4 sets over the Liberty Flames.